Hey, Shiro sisters, this is Tammy Williams. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. So what are we going to do today? Let's talk about the new year. So it's a new year, new beginnings, but many of us have projects that we've been wanting to do every year. And so every year we say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but we never really get around to it. So what I want to talk about is how to make changes to change in the new year, and specifically toward media. Talking about if you have a desire to write a book or maybe a film script or just anything creative. I want to encourage you to create today. So let's get started. What you'll need for this session is you're going to need a piece of paper, something to write on, and something to write with. So if you can take a moment and get that piece of paper and something to write with. Okay, you got it? Awesome. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Now, lots of times the reasons, I'm sorry, I just had a flashback of, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Most of the times that we don't move forward in our projects is because we come up with reasons that we can't do something. And usually that cancels out all the reasons that we can do something, right? So what I want you to do on your piece of paper right now, I want you to make a list of anything and everything that comes to your mind that you think that I cannot do it. The reasons that you can't do something. And I'm going to help you. Time. Time is a big one. People say, I simply don't have time to do it. When am I going to find time to do it? When am I going to find time to write this book, write this script? When am I going to find time to create? I'm just so busy. I have work. I have this and that. I just don't have time. Another reason. I've never really done this before. I don't really think I'm qualified to do it. Now that's a big one. Never done it before. Nobody in my family has done it before. And so therefore, I don't really think I can. How about, what if I create something and people simply just don't like it? They don't like it. That fear, I'm just not too sure how people are going to respond. I'm just not sure. And I don't want negative feedback and comments and things like that. So I just don't think I can do it because I just don't like the feedback. Here's another one. Well, I'm waiting for so-and-so. So-and-so said they were going to help me on this. I need a partner on it. And they said they were going to help me. And so I'm just going to wait, till they're available to help me on it. I've given you 4. Now here's a big one. Money. I don't have the money. Reasons I cannot do this creative project is I simply don't have the money to do it. Okay, so those are just some things. You probably have some more things on your list. Just kind of continue to write those things down. Just as they come to your mind, just jot them down on your paper. Okay, you got it? Good. So we've talked about why something can't be done, right? So now we're going to talk about why it can be done. In this particular instance, it is fine to talk and to answer yourself. Let's start with, we talked about time. Time is a big factor. When am I going to do it? Okay? Say to yourself, self, you tend to make time for the things that you really want to do. So self, help me to find time. Let's just think about it for a moment. So you're working full time. What do you do on your lunch break? Do you get an hour? Do you get 30 minutes? Can you take some of that time to create? Have your lunch, eat, and create at the same time. Maybe you're making a couple of phone calls. Maybe you're doing some research. You're working on the project. What if you get up 30 minutes earlier in the morning, or 45 minutes, or even an hour, and you're creating then? Or maybe you stay up an extra half hour in the evening and you're creating then. Maybe you do that a couple days during the week. Or maybe you take Sundays or Saturdays or whatever your favorite day is. And on that day, for a few minutes, you start working on your project. So you start carving out time and making time to do this project that you've had in your heart for a very long time. Now let's look at, I've never done it before. No one has done it before in my family. It's okay. You'll be the first. And there's no prerequisites. If you want to write a book, just start writing it, and it's okay. And don't get me wrong. It's okay to do your research, but don't let research like 3 years later, you're still researching and you've never put pen to paper. Okay. So if you need to do some research, do some research. But lots of times it's like if you're creating something, just start doing it. Just start. Don't let "I've never done it before" stop you. Okay? So just start doing it. Another thing is, well, what if they don't like it? And so somebody doesn't like it. Your project will probably not be for everybody. Your demo, your audience could be different. And so that's one thing that you have to look at too. Many times people create something and it's like, okay, who's your audience? I want everybody to see it. I want the whole world to see it. You have a specific audience. If you're writing or creating a project for kids, if you're creating a project for adults, you have a certain audience. And even with those audiences, everybody's not going to like it. And you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay with it. Also, you have to get out of other people's minds. You can't think about what you think they're going to think about your project. You have to know that this is something that you want to do, and you're going to put your best foot forward. All right? Another buster. She said she would help me. And so I'm waiting for somebody else. Wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Okay. Be careful not to put your dream in somebody else's hands. If that person has agreed to help you, that's cool, because we do need help. We do need resources. We do need help. But if that person's not coming through, you have to move on. You have to remember that this may not be their big break. This is your big break. This is your dream. Therefore, you have to take responsibility and work on it, one step at a time, one piece at a time. So don't wait on anyone. And you don't have to ask anybody for permission. Remember the game Mother May I? We played that game when we were growing up. And the way the game worked is there was a leader and the rest of the kids, we would stand in a line. And mother would say, or the kid being the mother, it's Tammy, take 2 ballerina spins and 2 giant steps. But before you could move, you had to say, "Mother, may I?" And she would say, "Yes, you may." So I would do the ballerina spins, take 2 steps, and voila, you keep going forward. And the winner of the game is the person who gets to the mother's position first. They win the game. So you always have to ask permission about every single move you have to make. In this case, when you have a project to do, you just do it. Give yourself the permission to make it happen. Lastly, and we've heard this one before. In fact, every time you want to create something or do something, this comes up. I don't have the money. Money, 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 money. That's the $1 million question. Where do I get the money from? Where do I fund my project? You have to take a look at your project and say, number one is, what type of resources do I have around me that I could use? Depending on your project, what can I do? If I pull a team of people together that have the same vision, the same energy, if I can collaborate with some people, bring resources together and make a project that everybody can benefit from, that's one way of doing it. Sometimes you can look around your home and you can find things. I had a friend, she always wanted to start a learning center. And at the time, she could not afford a building to move into a building. So she looked around her home and she noticed that there was this one room. It was fully decorated, but no one really ever went into that room. It was a room that was nice, but nobody went into it. So she changed it up. She decorated it. She redecorated it. She started her child care center right in her own home. So sometimes you got to look around and say, what's in my hand? What do I have that I can use to get this project started? And today there's so many other ways to get funding. There's so many different platforms that give you the ability to collaborate with others in funding a project. So check into some of those depending on what your project is. So today's session was about talking to yourself and answering yourself. And it's okay. So now that we have put a hurt on all the reasons that you cannot do something, now it's time to simply do it. Okay, you are a creative being. You can make it happen. Find yourself, a creative space to work and just do it. Okay, just do it. If you're writing a book, you sit, you start writing. Take that dream that's intangible and make it tangible. Write, create. I've never done it before. It's okay. Just keep going. Just write. Then look for somebody who can help you edit it, help you pull it together. Let some friends reread it, read it and reread it. A little bit at a time. When you do just a little bit at a time, that little bit goes a long way. Before you know it, you'll have your project finished. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. I hope in some kind of way that it has empowered you to move forward and be creative and create those projects that have been in your heart for such a long time. All right, so get the job done, and let go of all the reasons that you can't, so you can do it. And the best to you, my Shiro sister. Yeah, you can do it.